Hey, I'm Zach, Soulcatcher Simp. Feeling a little off today, a little weird. I don't know if I'm getting sick. I don't know if I'm just extremely moody. I don't know if Memories of Ice fucked me up because it's a fucked up book, but something's off with me. So apologize if the energy isn't where it should be, but I just finished Memories of Ice and oh, it deeply affected me. It's an extremely dark book. I'm very impressed by it. I'm astonished by how sadistically majestic Erickson's scope truly is. I don't know, man. I feel hurt right now. This was a deeply affecting book. So, of course, there's a lot of themes with Memories of Ice. Um, Tragedy, loss, trauma, compassion, eternity. But one theme I really love, is this a good segue? Is envy. There are there are pages of this book that will haunt me forever. And although arguably Dead House Gates was darker and more intense, I found Memories of Ice more disturbing, or I felt a lot more anxious, uneasy, and hurt while reading Memories of Ice. I do like darker fantasy. I do like more intense fantasy. Um, love characters, love themes, love philosophy, and I love the psychologies of all the characters here. And the character that I felt safest around in this book, emotionally, sexually safe around, was a character called Lady Envy. I thought she was great. Highly entertaining, highly gripping, a riveting kind of woman. Exactly the kind of character that I love. I think she has soul catcher qualities, personally. She's exactly the kind of character that I gravitate towards. So let's do a character study of her. She deserves it. I love her so much. I actually wish we got more of her. Lady Envy was a sorceress, daughter of the elder god Draconis, and sister to Spite. Her mother was thought to be Sheltatha Lore. She was described as tall and slim with long, straight, impossibly clean, and perfectly combed black hair, deep red lips, and stunningly beautiful green eyes darkened by kohl. Woo! I am there. I'm there. Hell yeah, Lady Envy simp incoming. She's awesome. She's wonderful. I love these deified, dangerous, seductive women who are operating on ambitions and motivations that are kind of hidden from not only the reader but from the other players within the book. I like the threatening quality of a very powerful woman when you don't know what her goal is. I would follow her into the dark, though. It was remarked by Talk the Younger that she looked around 25. Now, Talk the Younger was it was wonderful seeing Talk again. I think Talk is great, and it's through Talk that I really fell in love with Envy. The way that she would toy with Talk, the way that she would flirt with Talk, the way that that she knew that she was completely fucking with Talk's mind, sexually, erotically. I was like, Talk, bro, I'm you right now, dude. I am you. Talk, though, he was convinced that he would die if he continued in Envy's party, so he abandoned her party, and I think that was a terrible mistake. I also wish I just got more Envy in general, and more of the dynamic between Talk and Envy. If there's any missed opportunity of Memories of Ice, I thought we were about to do some interesting investigations, or at least continue that interesting dynamic, yeah, between Envy and Talk, but that was kind of taken away from me. Um, so that Talk could have an admittedly convoluted, but also certainly morbid and powerful second half of his arc. She wore a flowing, blindingly white, veiled talaba, similar to those worn by high-born women of 7 cities. She was known to adjust her makeup to match the latest fashion trends, such as the time she painted her lips a pale blue. I love that quality in those deified, nearly eternal women, where they're kind of conscious of the times and then want to keep up with the fashion. It's something, it's an attractive quality. It's a quirk, but it's an attractive quality nonetheless. Envy possessed great natural charisma, which she enhanced by sorcerous means, and the seeming ability to read minds. Okay, Stevie fucking Erickson is a fan of the Black Company. I mean, so far I could be reading a Soul Catcher wiki page. His character might be an homage to Soul Catcher, for all that I know. The only thing I'm certain of is that I thought she was the most entertaining character in Memories of Ice, for reasons similar to why I'm so obsessed with Soul Catcher. But Soul Catcher is top tier, god tier kind of character, whereas Envy, if we get more time with Envy, she could approach that level. But I think there were a couple missed opportunities with the characters in Memories of Ice. Once again, very impressed by the book, but I was sort of frustrated sometimes by the missed opportunities that I saw, especially with characters like Lady Envy. Her kiss could enslave people to do her bidding. Fucking hell yeah, kiss me then. I got no plans. Even those she chose not to bend to her will by sorcery found it difficult to resist her. However, she seemed to prefer to influence those around her with her feminine charms, so they would choose the kiss and thus enslavement willingly. That's hot. Instead of simply forcing them to accept it, she admitted to Talk the Younger that she had a penchant for cruelty and sympathized with his desire to resist her. See, we could have done so much cool, like, psychosexual stuff with Talk and Envy that we didn't do. Her vast magical powers were not limited to manipulation. She was able to unleash extremely destructive waves of energy against her enemies, slaying hundreds at a time. Lady Envy was also very adept at healing and could cast someone into an involuntary sleep. Talk called her a mistress of adventure seduced by serendipity. What a beautiful turn of phrase. More likely to act in anger while momentarily affronted rather than driven by vengeance in the long term. She existed for distraction, for wayward whims. Fatalism was unknown to her. Oh, God, I love that so much. That's something to aspire toward, isn't it? A life where fatalism is unknown to you, especially in a series like Malazan, where fate seems all too often to be the grand decider, or at least the ultimate antagonist of this book does feel like it's fate itself, the concept of fate. And then you get a character like Lady Envy. Fatalism is entirely unknown to her. She existed for distraction, for wayward whims. Now, wayward whims, I mean, obviously sounds whimsical. It sounds like, it sounds a little insignificant. But if your life has been devoted to almost childish, wayward whims, then that's the biggest victory that you can have over something as all-consuming and sovereign as fate itself. Mistress of adventure, seduced by serendipity. Serendipity is an incredible concept, and I like that serendipity has been represented in all of its cuddly existentialist glory in a character like Lady Envy. Like Lady Envy, I think, is a pretty positive spin on what Soulcatcher represented in the Black Company. Lady Envy is a very positive take on the kind of more gothic female character that I often find myself obsessed with. Envy was over 200,000 years old, and her own memories of her long life were sometimes unclear. It was known that Lady Envy once traveled for a time with Animander Rake and Osric. though their relationship was more like rivals keeping tabs on each other than friends. Eventually, Osric left the group, and sometime after that, in the days before the chaining of the Fallen One, an argument erupted between Lady Envy and Animander, resulting in each of them choosing their own path. Rake went on to participate in the chaining, but Envy did not. Envy also claimed to have crushed a few empires in my time. She just gets cooler and cooler. I also love Animander Rake as a character, and I often have found myself daydreaming about the stuff that we don't necessarily see in Malazan. I would love an entire book just about Rake and Envy, their history, their dynamic, their rivalry, because just imagining those two in close quarters is unbelievably captivating. Um, I mean, because they're two of the greatest warriors against fate that has ever been written in literature. And they both fight against it with varying degrees of severity. And Lady Envy, like, though she often likes to make herself up, like paint herself as a more just seductress or whimsical perpetual rebel of fate itself. Animander Rake obviously is like a titan, a tyrant that tries to stand in fate's way. But I think that they're both almost equally as troublesome to fate as a concept, fate as this unstoppable force, like fate is this oppressive force. That's one of the coolest things about Malazan, is that it presents fate as something that is just so overwhelmingly, pulverizingly oppressive. And we see that through characters like Paran. We see that through characters like Silver Fox, the Maibi, obviously Lady Envy, Animander Rake, Lorne, Fellison. I can't wait to continue with Fellison in the next book. Fellison really captivated me in Dead House Gates. And while I was very impressed by Memories of Ice, I will say that out of the three that I have read so far, Memories of Ice was the one that I don't want to say anything too negative, because I did enjoy the book a lot. I just think that Gardens of the Moon and Dead House Gates were significantly better stories with significantly deeper characters, and I found the themes more complex, or at least more confrontational. I do think that these three books can make up a trilogy of sorts, because I do think that a lot that goes on throughout the three books are kind of interwoven and come to a head truly in Memories of Ice. Memories of Ice does have some unique strengths to it that the other two books don't. But Gardens of the Moon, Lorne completely blew my mind. Dead House Gates was whoa, what was a treatise about how fate can reshape its victims, right, or its heroes. And Fellison was a character that I was just absolutely all about. I found her so sophisticated and definitely confrontational. Whereas Memories of Ice, there was this kind of distance. I felt a little distanced by this one compared to the other two. I'm still incredibly impressed by it, and I would tell you it's a very good book. But there were frustrations this time that were absent in my first two Malazan books. But all in all, it's still extremely good. In Memories of Ice, Envy made her first appearance in the books at Morn, where she resided in a ruined Jaghut tower while she studied the rent there. I love that setting. I love that atmosphere, because the atmosphere does the talking before Envy does. And when I was reading that part, I was like, oh, that's so cool. I didn't know Malazan had the capacity for this type of setting, this type of atmosphere, and this type of character. This feels like such a cool kind of facet of dark fantasy that I never thought I'd see represented inside of Malazan. This kind of there are patchworks of camp involved here, but it's more the psychosexual trappings of grimdark that you find within the Lady Envy character, and especially within that setting, and especially right after like Talk and Tool are reunited, and oh god, it's so amazing. So cool. She had with her 3 charmed Segula servants, Sinu, Thurul, and Mok, and I loved her little fucking her Segula little worms that Dami Mommy fucking ordered around. That was awesome. As well as 2 animal companions, Gareth, a large dog, and Baljag, the world's only living eye. They were soon joined by Tok the Younger, freshly returned from being stranded in the Warren of Chaos and the Tulani Moss Onus Tulan. I was so happy when I first started this book, thinking that was going to be our primary party for one of the concurrent narrative systems. But then Tok had to go and leave. Tok had to go and leave it. I was upset by that a little bit because I was thrilled by the dynamics of the Segula, the Eye, Tool, Envy, everybody like bouncing off of each other, and the different energies, the different kinds of interiority of each character, dude, like in that party. But then, of course, it didn't really last. It didn't last long at all, to be honest. In her study of the rent, she determined that the portal seemed almost mechanical in nature, that a Kachan Jamal matron had escaped from it decades ago before freeing her brood from the nearby barrows. Tool offered her further insight, but requested she accompany him northward to discover the details. As the group ventured towards the territory of the Panion Daman, Envy took great delight in Tok's company and enjoyed torturing him with her presence. Those moments are my favorite moments of the book, mostly because I thought they were going to be capitalized on later. Like, in much the same way Glenn Cook capitalized on those sorts of moments throughout the Black Company series. But Erickson had other things on his mind that he wanted to explore. I'm a reader who does have a big interest in the psychosexual dimensions of the characters involved and of the character dynamics involved. And I don't think Erickson is quite as interested as me in that. But those are my favorite parts of the book. When Tok is like, "This woman's gonna drive me fucking mad, dude. Does she know what does she know what she's doing to me? She has to know what she's doing to me. Oh my god, I need to resist kissing her or whatever, you know." And then when Envy shows restraint in the manipulation of Tok, like we were doing so much so fast, and I was very excited. It was soon revealed to the reader that Envy had gathered her odd assortment of companions at the behest of Krull, and as part of his plans to oppose the crippled god. The Elder God sent Envy to wage war with the Panion Seer in the south, while the coalition of Malazan forces with Animander, Rake, and Caladan Brood struck from the north. Krull hoped Envy's attack would split off some of the Seer's forces, so the northern coalition had a greater chance of success. Further, the Elder God revealed to Envy that the crippled god had poisoned the Warrens, which were Krull's own lifeblood, and that he was afraid. Yeah, when all the Warrens are fucking like bleeding, that's quite an image. I think with quite a lot of like philosophical impact. I mean, if the Warrens are the conduits for which the magic to travel, to traverse, and they are bleeding, that says an awful lot about the state, the state of fantasy within Memories of Ice. The status quo itself is being reshaped by fate itself, by the crippled god, by the crippling nature of the epic fantasy framework. The first of the Panion forces to fall to Envy's company was a Kel hunter, followed shortly by Seer Daman Kalt and his frontier temple. I love the fucking temple scene. When like Tok awakes and it's just fucking like some snuff film in the fucking fantasy genre, and everyone's just being hacked to death, and Envy's like, "Okay, I'm gonna kiss you. Never mind, I gotta it's fucking amazing." Then Envy unleashed her power at Bastion against First Child Anaster Teniscowry's hordes. All the while, she struggled to keep the Segula under his control. The coalition fractured at Bastion, when Tok the Younger, feeling himself outclassed among monsters and immortals and no longer willing to be manipulated by Envy, insinuated himself among the Teniscowry, hoping to reach his fellow Malazans in the north. But he was soon captured and imprisoned by the Seer. And that, I think, dude, in my opinion, that's that is a flaw of the book. I think that what happens to Talk after he departs from Envy's party, Envy's like group of fucking misfit weirdos. I do think what happens to him after is profound, sure, but I think it's a misstep personally, because I think that what he was doing with Envy, what Erickson was building between Talk, Tool, Envy, and the Segula, especially the Eye, it's I thought it was so promising, and I was very frustrated when Talk ran away. It's obviously understandable why Talk abandoned Lady Envy, because he thought he was going to die. He was certain that he would die if he was with her, even though Envy was told specifically to take care of Talk the Younger, and I think she would have. Talk is impulsive. I mean, that's his character flaw, but the reader is the one who suffers that impulsivity along with Talk. I wish Talk stayed with Lady Envy, but we do see Envy again. Envy and the others fought their way to the Seer's throne and outlook despite the efforts of his Kachan Shamal and his Omtos Felak sorcery. Unable to stop them, the Seer fled with Talk to Coral. Tool left Envy's company to follow Talk on his own, but they were soon joined by Lannis Tog, who they discovered floating in Coral Bay aboard the wreckage of a Mekros city. Envy looted the warren of Poliol to sow the plague amongst the Panions, delighted to beset the allies of the goddess of disease, who had thrown in with the crippled god. In the process, she became somewhat estranged from Gareth when he fell to the same sickness. Mock demanded she heal her faithful servant. Just doing so many fascinating things. And Envy is the kind of character that I love in fantasy, and I'm extremely grateful that she was in Memories of Ice. Envy arrived at Coral amidst the Malazan siege of the city, while the three Segula, Lannis Tog, and Gareth raced ahead inside the Seer's Keep. Envy and Baljag stumbled upon Picker's company of embattled bridge burners. Picker's a character I really liked in this book. Also, she magically healed the gravelly injured soldiers in return for their promise to help her locate and rescue Talk. Envy slew waves of Erdeman soldiers, but bridge burners died all around her. After stumbling upon Talk's corpse, the bridge burners considered their deal complete and made to withdraw with his body. Miffed at being left alone, Envy headed to the keep's roof to seek revenge on the Seer. Like, I kind of like that stuff. I do. It's just could have gone in a different way that was more beneficial to the psychosexual dynamics that Erickson seemed to have been building, but apparently without any true purpose or goal in mind with Envy and Talk. As Animander Rake brought Moonspawn crashing down onto the keep to end the battle, Envy escaped by Warren, bringing the Segula and Gareth to safety with her. She complained to Rake, who responded that if he had known she was there, he would have hit the keep harder. She warned the Tistandi that her blood whispered that Draconis plotted to escape Dragnapur. She was astonished by his lack of concern and reminded him how difficult it had been to slay her father the first time. She had merely stood by and not intervened at the time, but Rake declared Draconis had known better than to ask for help. Later, Envy revealed to her companions that Rake had banished her and them from the city. The goal of their punitive mission complete, Envy announced she would escort the three Segula back to the island. And that ends Memories of Ice for Lady Envy. Lady Envy, I loved her so much. Memories of Ice was a very good book, but it's a book that I definitely felt teased by and ultimately unsatisfied by certain things that I was wanting out of it. Now that's me and my hangups. Erickson's goals were entirely indifferent to my desires for certain characters like Lady Envy and Talk. And the story Erickson ended up telling was I thought just so intense, so disturbing, and surprising, and it wasn't unpleasant at all as a reader to be surprised and often aggravated by the turns he was making, because each turn challenged me. It may not have been at least the story that I wanted with the dynamics that I was anticipating, but it's possible it's the story that I needed to experience, because man, I found it incredibly disturbing that the children of the dead seed, right? That's nightmarish. That's amazing. Memories of Ice. I'm very impressed by this book. I think that Gardens of the Moon is an absolute masterpiece. I think that Dead House Gates is unbelievably good, and I think Memories of Ice is good. I think it's a good book. I'm looking forward to House of Chains. I think that Fellison is going to continue to captivate me, and I want to read all about her and Tavor. That's something I'm looking forward to as well. Other things I like, the Memories of Ice, very quickly. Whiskey Jack, I thought, was a very tragic character, and his death hurt me a lot. His death left the worst kind of taste in my mouth. It was bitter, it was tragic, and I hate Calor so much. I'm just thinking about it right now, like, oh, fuck, is what I think every reader says when they get to that part. Just fixed your fucking leg, you weirdo. Why didn't you get it fixed? There's no possible way that Malice would have taken that long to fix it, you fucking nerd. Damn, Whiskey Jack. That death shocked me. I thought Whiskey Jack was here for the long haul, but now I'm like, is anybody here for the long haul? By book 7, is there going to be no one that was around in book 1? I don't know. Could very likely likely possibility. Malazan, though, is becoming one of my absolute favorite series of books. I think it's top 3 quality already, because like even the criticisms that I have here, which I don't think are all that deep or serious, the criticisms that I have been sharing though have in and of themselves been forced me to grapple with certain things that I project onto the fantasy genre, right? Like it's even the criticisms that I have are benefiting me as a person in some way, and especially as a reader. So like even when I'm aggravated by Malazan, Malazan is still working its Warren magic on me in ways that are still deep and still compelling. I hope you did find something of value in this character study. I hope you appreciated what I had to say. Thank you so much for watching me. Bye for now.